We got to start off with a little bit of an introduction. Listen, last time we talked about the horror show of James Arthur Ray and the sauna deaths, right? From this guru said, hey, go jump in the sauna. You'll find enlightenment. You'll go face your metaphorical death. Turns out he kind of mixed up metaphorical and literal. And Amish and I were talking about that, and I was shocked when I found this out. So Amish, after that podcast, I researched it. I did all this stuff. I have a whole video coming out about this guy. But I wanted to share with the audience because people can't believe that anyone could do this. And they're like, what kind of person would do this? Well, I'll show you what kind of person would do this because actually we caught him on CNN saying some untoward things towards the victims of his thing. And it gets you in the mindset of a sociopath, I'm obviously no psychologist, but what I believe to be probably some kind of there's something going on here. Let's share it with the class.
I've said
Marisa Sato, knowledge for $2.
they don't feel that you've taken adequate responsibility for those deaths. Where are you on that? How do you feel about what happened that day?
I have taken full and complete responsibility for what happened. I've done everything asked of me. I've paid restitution. I've done the time. And, I think it's really important for me to communicate that James Shore, Liz Newman, and Kirby Brown,
those are all the victims. So you just named all the victims of who died.
Are heroes. They're not victims. They really believed in something. And to me, that's heroic, and I hold that in high regard. I think it's disrespectful for them to be portrayed as victims because they really believed in what they were doing. And in life,
they believed in something.
As an entrepreneur, you've got to be willing to give everything you have. And it's difficult. It's not easy. You're saying
that's the full crazy.
This guy can't believe it. He's like, are you saying on air that they died heroes in your little sauna trap? Your little death trap? This guy goes, people died, so what? They're heroes. He goes, they want to, listen, you got to, I told them you have to put everything on the line for business, and they did just that.
That's it. They were good
students. They're heroes.
They were good students, and they listened.
They're heroes.
But they're heroes. What? They believed in something. What do they believe in?
What do you believe in? Have you died recently? What do you believe in?
It's crazy.
Bro,
they believe
psycho.
He's nuts. He's nuts.
Psycho.
It's like there's nothing in there. It's like a dead person inside. Like, what is in there?
Yeah. No, it really is. I mean, he's basically like, oh yeah, whatever. Keep listening.
Died in the sweat lodge at your retreat, and you're saying that was an act of sacrifice for them, that they gave everything they had?
Well, they obviously gave everything they had. I mean, none of us could have foreseen. There's a much bigger story here than is what even told in the documentary. It was kind of glossed over in the coverage by the media. It was not wanted to be heard by the judge or the jury. And, I'll kind of leave it at that.
He says there's a secret story going on here. So I want to know. I'm like, wow, if there's a secret story. So let me tell you guys the first story. So James Ray Arthur is an old-time guru. If you missed the last episode, because we're kind of following on that. James Arthur Ray is an old-time guru who's like trying to follow in this place of Tony Robbins. He went to one of Tony Robbins' seminars. He got really inspired by how Tony just seemed to command a crowd, how he was doing those firewalks. So he said, I'm going to do that myself. So he, in his seminars, starts not only doing firewalks, he starts doing like this thing where you put an iron piece of rebar between your necks and you try to crush it together.
Oh,
he's got one where he's trying to chop boards in half, and this lady like broke her hand, and he goes, what do you not believe in it? And so she keeps slamming her hand down, suffers multiple fractures. He had one where he's like having everyone dress as homeless people, whatever. He's like psyching them out. This lady ends up committing suicide off a hotel. That was all before the sweat lodge. Then in the sweat lodge the year before, a doctor, somebody came out and they're like, hey, if you keep doing this, people are going to die. And he's like, what are you? Who are you? You James Ray Arthur? No. So he has this sweat lodge ceremony where it's basically a heat endurance test. They have like coals in the middle, and it's like this tarp tent, and they're pouring water on the fire to make steam, and you're just sitting in there, and he keeps telling you, you can do more. Hey, part of the symptom of enlightenment is if you feel like you're going to pass out. You're about to have a breakthrough.
They call it an ego death. He's like it's an ego death. Your ego is going to die, so it'll feel
I was talking to one of the victims' families, and she goes, he was giving people near-death experiences and calling it enlightenment. And because they were literally near death, like people had to be revived anyway. So eventually 3 of them did die. And he goes on here and goes,
they're heroes.
what are you going to do?
They believed in something, and that's noble. They believed in me.
But here's the shocking thing. This piece of footage, you would think would be on whose website? CNN's, right? Why would James Ray upload a piece of footage? This is on James Ray's own page.
Hey, did
Why?
you see me on CNN? He goes, hey, did you see me on CNN? I was on CNN this week. Oh, yeah, where they talked about how you murdered 3 people. Yeah, I was on CNN, though. Baby.
But did you see me on CNN? I look good. By the way, just for leaving prison, I look good, though.
Did I look good on CNN? You see my CNN bit? Look at this guy. He's wild, dude.
I got to bring you up. Why are you slouched over? Sit up, Amish. Sit up in your chair, please.
I'm very straight.
You're
it's
so
the angle.
You're so low in the camera. There you go.
So, okay, you know what's crazy? Oh, you know what? This chair lifts right up.
There we go, baby.
There we go. But you know what's crazy, dude? Is that what he's teaching in the tent, that you must die so that you can be resurrected? It's like that's the very thing that he's not doing, because the thing that they teach, even in Christian theology, is that okay, Jesus died and then was resurrected, but then they teach like that's like a metaphor of like whenever you do something wrong, but just come to God, then you will be resurrected. But all that God asks is that you repent. You have to repent. That's it. You just have to say, I made a mistake, God. You have to say, Daddy, I made a mistake, Daddy. But he won't say that.
Yeah.
He won't say, I made a mistake, Daddy.
Yeah,
all he can say is, how could I have known? It is like a little bit of how could I have known? And then also like, it's a really good program. It's worth it. He almost thinks like the program's so good, it's worth it.
Well, here's the crazy thing. So then I looked up when he was trying to defend himself from like what is the real story? Because he said there's a real story here, right? Real story. Let's watch. This is a Sean Atwood interview with James Ray. Sean Atwood's being a little soft on James Ray. I've got to admit, I was a little disappointed. Very soft. Get off your high horse, Zilla. I know. On a big high horse with this whole sweat lodge thing.
I want to preface all this because sometimes people have a tendency, particularly the trolls and haters, to misinterpret that I'm trying to sidestep responsibility, and I will never do that.
Never.
You know, I just put out my new book, The Business of Redemption, and the first chapter,
he says, Amish, I've done it. I've done the work. So let's keep watching. Let's keep watching.
Don't say the word.
Yeah.
First statement in the first chapter is, I am responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And I am fully responsible. It was my event. It was my team. It was my choice to do what we know now is a dangerous exercise.
Oh, okay. Actually, we knew before. We knew before when the year before people are being revived. I mean, people have been revived at that exact thing. And people were telling him, bro, you're taking it too far. You're taking it too far. Da, da, da. He's like, what? Nobody died. Hey, they're revived, aren't they? Are they revived? And then people finally die. And he goes, well, now we know. Listen, I was testing it. Now we know. Now I won't do it anymore.
And as the leader, I'm responsible. You know, when something goes sideways in your business, there's only one person in the crosshairs. So that being said...
So he just said, I'm responsible. And then, you know when somebody's like, hey, this isn't a racist joke, but... Like, you know the but? They say the first thing, so then they can say the opposite in the actual main part of the thing. So he goes, I'm totally responsible. That being said, though...
That being said...
I
carry no responsibility.
Yeah,
I've done my time.
To answer your question more specifically, it's unfortunate because the state of Arizona and the detective in charge they jumped to assumptions. They didn't follow up on any of the forensics. Zero. I mean, they took samples from the tarps. They took samples from the wood and from the stones. And frankly, you know, we had 2 witnesses in my behalf. One of them was a doctor from Harvard. It was a 4.
Oh, dang. I just actually...
What's this evidence, though? I mean, what can the evidence prove? That they were going to die anyway? Like, why do we need forensic evidence? They went to your sweat lodge. They all said that you forced them to stay in there or whatever it is. Like, what's the forensic evidence?
Listen.
To forensics. And she also testified that there were traces of organophosphates found in the materials. which is congruent with what the doctor from Harvard found, is that the presenting problems, foaming at the mouth, dilated pupils, are not heat related. That was.
Listen, Amish, look. What, they might have been on drugs. Look, you can't trust these guys who go to retreats. Maybe they were on drugs. Maybe there was something. Maybe someone screwed me over. Maybe somebody was trying to sabotage me. Maybe there was something in the wood. Maybe there was something in the woods. Amish, I take full responsibility. That being said,
wow,
they never followed up on the forensics.
They didn't do the forensics right. I mean, this is the guy who drove out of there. This is the guy who the lawyer said you got to go, so he just goes, and he just drove out, and that's it. So he doesn't care about anyone. I mean, he's a sociopath. And
no.
If
But he said, wouldn't have you done that too? You see that interview where he's like, yeah, I drove off. Yeah, I ditched it, but you would have probably done the same.
No.
You never seen that? You never seen that? Oh, dude.
No, I haven't seen it, but also, like, why would someone do that? You stand with your flog, baby.
But can you believe? No. Can you believe that though? He literally is
like, you have done that? That's amazing. So you wouldn't have done that?
What was going through your head when you heard?
Obviously, that was tough. And then it metastasized to her lungs and liver, and the doctor had told me it was stage 4 at the.
Oh wait, where's the actual part about? Oh, here we go. Sorry, it's right here.
Chose to do the lodge, and to that degree, I'm responsible.
So he goes, I chose to do the lodge. To that degree, I'm responsible. He's constantly saying like I'm responsible, but then he always backtracks. Okay.
Yeah.
So then now he's going to talk about why he had to run. He had to run, right?
I was the captain of the ship. I have to take responsibility for that.
I have to jump ship.
There was an allegation
I'm captain,
that
so I
you
have
left
to.
the scene pretty quickly and just disappeared. Is that true? And if so, why did you leave so fast?
I had to. Pierce, I had to.
You know, Pierce, I wish I could say that I was enlightened enough to not have any impulse for self-preservation. I'm not.
I wish I could say I was perfect and didn't cause these 3 deaths.
Yeah.
But
after
but
15
I'm not.
I'm not. You think after 15 heat tent retreats I would have had the enlightenment, but I don't have it. I didn't have the enlightenment yet. What a bullshit, dude. He's like, I wish I was more enlightened. So I would have stayed there. I would have known to do the right thing.
Oh my gosh, dude. Normal people, not enlightened, would have stayed.
I've done 0 tent retreats. I promise you I would have stayed.
Oh
what is this
gosh,
garbage?
dude. Such garbage.
No morality.
Within the first 5 minutes, the detective told me that they were investigating it as a homicide, and I was already in shock, and I was.
I said, what?
I was already in
A
shock.
homicide? Oh!
Like, what? And I called my lawyer, and my lawyer said, get out of there. I told him what the detective said. He said, get out of there. They seized my room. There was nowhere to go. And so I left. And again, there's many things I wish, in retrospect, I could do differently. But I was scared.
Oh, I sin, Piers, I sin.
I can't.
I was traumatized by doing the homicide.
Piers, if only the detectives had followed up, Piers. If only they had followed up on the organophosphates.
The organophosphates needs to stop.
I love that he does that.
I love this. Like I was already traumatized from doing the homicide, and then when he said homicide, I got re-traumatized, so I just had to run away.
Dude, his whole thing, by the way, you watch the doc. The doc is called Enlighten Us, okay? The whole doc is like him being like, look, why did this happen? It's a test from God to make sure that I grew more. These people died so I could grow.
Yeah.
That sounds psycho, right? That sounds psycho. He really says that in the doc.
Yeah,
I'll show you guys.
It's sad because he didn't even do the grow. Like, just grow then. Like, if you grew, it could be true.
This is mind blowing. This is mind blowing.
It had to happen.
All right, hold on. We gotta rewind a little bit. Sorry, you guys can't see it. Amazon Prime blocks you from seeing the stuff. But
Bezos.
When I look at the
okay, here we go.
event in Sedona, I ask myself, like, how did that happen? I wonder if you ask yourself that question.
I think I know the answer to that question.
Uh-oh.
It had to happen.
It had to.
It was the only way I could experience and learn and grow through the things that I've done.
This is God's plan.
That's what I think.
Listen, those guys died for me. They're heroes. They sacrificed themselves for my own growth. I would have never known not to put people in a sweat lodge. Look, what a doctor would tell me? I can't believe him until I put people in, baby. I got to put them in the sweat lodge. Got to put them in the sweat lodge so that, listen to me, Amish. Made myself bigger so you could listen to me. So that I could grow, brother.
Yeah. The way you are growing on the screen right now, Stephen. Just the way you are growing on the screen. Yes.
Can you believe this?
This is the damages of ego, Stephen. This is what ego does, Stephen. As you blow up your image and keep mine small, they're already upset about the thumbnail. I'm just saying, the audience was very upset about the thumbnail.
Little Amish.
But no, this guy is a true psycho. Like, he doesn't believe it. In his mind, he just thinks it's God's plan. And that's God's plan.
God's plan. He was walking out of there being like, God's plan. Bro, terrible. Bad joke. Not funny joke, but I mean, I do believe he probably was like, as he was walking out of the prison, he's like, it's God's plan. I grew.
Am I drinking the
Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid?
He was driving out
Listen, he goes, am I drinking the Kool-Aid?
Maybe, but that Kool-Aid works for me.
Hey.
There you go.
I think you come out of a situation like this and you're either bitter and angry or you're more awake and grateful.
He's awake and grateful for the fact that people died, Amish.
Yes. The redemption has not occurred. I can't believe he even used the word redemption.
By the way, he also continues his whole thing about them dying. Was it really bad though? He's got this funny theory about it. He's like, what is bad? He's a high schooler who learned about philosophy for the first time, and they're like, do you know what's evil? Absolutely though. Is it actually evil, or is it your perception? Those like when you're 14 and you kind of start questioning things and you think that's really profound line of reasoning. Okay, well, yeah,
but this guy's like a 40. Back to daddy.
Huh?
You can say they've gone back to daddy.
Yeah, there's a 50,
they're up in heaven.
50-year-old. Listen.
Pardon me?
Especially bad experiences.
But bad is relative, right? Was my prison experience bad? Yep. Was it good? Yep.
49, Carlos Alba. Sheesh.
Only because I went to prison. I wouldn't have met you otherwise.
It feels a little bit like you're picking and choosing which are the experiences we're talking about here in terms of what the struggles that you went through. I mean, it wasn't just about prison. It was about...
But let me ask you, and I appreciate this question.
Yeah, she's like, it's about people died, though. And he's like, wait. I appreciate this question.
I appreciate the question. It's a smart move.
It's very Trump. No, he's about to still dig himself further.
What determines bad?
What happened in the sweat lodge seems bad to the people.
So you're saying that death is objectively bad.
So you're saying them dying was objectively bad. Is that the crazy statement you want to make today, Amish? Is that the kind of statement you want to make? Doesn't sound very enlightened of you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So being up with God, the Most High, Daddy, that's bad?
What is it, bad?
They're up there with Daddy. Daddy's holding them like, I love you, baby. Daddy's holding them like this. That's bad? Well, how do you justify this? I guess it's like...
Keep listening, guys. Keep listening.
And death, definitely, when you don't think you're going to die.
Yeah.
But you are. Born dying.
A guy from the audience, so you guys can't see what's going on, but he's giving this little talk. And... this lady's like, yeah, but if you die, you didn't know you were going to die. That's objectively bad. And then James Ray Arthur goes, well, you are going to die one day. And then one of the people in the audience chimes in. He goes, you're born dying. James Ray's right. You're born dying. So, I mean, if you die because of this guy, is it bad? Is it objectively bad?
Objectively bad?
That's...
For the progress of humanity, can some people die? For the progress of my church, can some people die?
For the progress of James Ray Arthur. That's who it is. That's the progress. That's who the progress is for.
If I can help more people, then some people can die. Yeah, this is crazy. No, he's legit.
It's insane.
It's completely insane. To himself. I can't believe he uses the word revelation in the book, too. It's like you're doing...
And he goes redemption. He goes, redemption. The business of redemption. I'm like, dude... what are you talking about? All you spend your time doing is being like, look, I'm totally responsible. That being said, they just didn't follow up on the forensics.
Dying is bad. Dying is bad. But that being said, don't you want to be up with daddy? Like, what is he talking about? It's
Dude, it really is that. It really is. It really is that stupid, guys. It really is that shallow and stupid.
It's sad because he should have stayed in church. His dad was a church man. And he should have stayed in church. Because I find the church doesn't do this. They don't go the crazy route like this. This fire walks and Schmeier walks. Not at Joel Osteen. And I don't see it. His dad was like an honest preacher.
Joel Osteen keeps it high and tight.
It's high and tight, man.
Look, the Sweat Lodge, all these gurus, like, yeah, they want to take it farther. They're like, hey, we want to be the rock concerts of, they're like secular churches for people who are lost. And then they go, but let's kind of get some rock and roll. Let's see how many volts you can take before your heart stops. Hey, you ever, it's an ancient Indian ceremony. It's called plug the fork into the socket. Ancient Indian ceremony. It's really meaningful. You might die, but that's just enlightenment challenging you. That's a breakthrough.
Testing your will. Testing your will. This guy got the moves from Tony Robbins, though. That's the interesting thing. It's like he was in The Secret.
Yeah.
He made that get hotter and hotter, and then he goes to a Tony Robbins seminar, sees the firewalk, and he says, I need something sexy like this.
That's my game. That's the game. That's the stuff. We talked about last time how Tony Robbins, the connection, and that's actually going to be our first guest today, is a Tony Robbins firewalk survivor. Okay, listen, the firewalk probably has not killed anybody, but it's up in line with those activities that are like, oh, well, this can like objectively hurt you, and there's no reason to do it. I mean, listen. By the way, I'm happy if you want to go skydiving. God bless you, go skydiving. But I'm not. What I don't like is like a group think seminar where then it's like, let's all do dangerous activities and like let's challenge each other and push each other to do dangerous activities. Like, well, wait,
that's crazy.
That's something you should decide on your. If you want to walk across fire,
right?
You can do that anywhere. There's a reason that no one does it except at like a Tony Robbins seminar, right?
It's crazy. And look, and going to that point you're making of like, it doesn't have any benefit. I know this is going to sound like a joke, but God's son died for your sins. You don't have to literally die for your sins anymore. You can have, like, this is a good spiritual
practice. Get him, Amish. Get him.
This real spiritual practice is you repent. You say, I've made a mistake. Here's exactly what it is. I have to make sure I don't do it again. And then the world will forgive you.
Yeah.
James Ray Arthur sits low on these numbers because you're crazy now.
He hasn't. Well, yeah, he hasn't actually taken accountability. By the way, interview coming out with the mom of one of the girls who died at the sauna. I talked to her just a few days ago. You know what she said to me? This blew my mind. First of all, she said, James, I forgive you. I couldn't believe that. That was like the whole interview had me choked up. But what she said was, if he had come out and said, I basically brainwashed your daughter. I used these tactics to get your daughter. I engaged in dangerous activities. I'm not licensed. She's like, the conversation would be different. I wouldn't feel the way that I feel, but this guy never took accountability. He says he did, but then he goes, your daughter's a hero because she wanted to sacrifice herself. It's insane. It's pathological. He fled the scene of the crime. I mean, it's a harrowing story, but she said the exact same thing to me. She said, if he had just said sorry, if he had apologized, if he had taken accountability, it'd all been different. But instead, these people, they're trying to hold on to their ego because they think they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Even during the documentary, he keeps saying, I can't believe this happened to me. I'm James Ray Arthur.
How could this happen?
He goes, he literally said, I thought the detectives were going to come in, see it's James Ray Arthur. This is what he's saying. See it's James Ray Arthur and go, oh, this can't be a homicide.
Wow.
Because James Ray's out to help people.
Wow. And
he
then
was just
the
pushing
lawyer
them to enlighten themselves.
And it's, remember he said his lawyer called? So his lawyer probably just said, like, he's like, what's going to happen? Oh, they'll probably just arrest you right now. What?
Bro,
like he
was in his room eating a ham sandwich when they're like, hey, death happened on this property. He's like, what's the big deal? I'm James Ray Arthur.
What's the big deal? Yeah. And then the lawyer's like, hey, I should probably mention this to you, lawyer. Like, 3 people died. What should I do? Yeah, they're going to arrest you. The lawyer probably didn't even say get out of there. The lawyer probably said they're going to arrest you. And he goes, I'm leaving. He just bounced out.
He ditched, man.
Ditched him.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? This will blow your mind right now. James Ray Arthur. I got to show you the clip. I will not do it justice.
I think he's doing Facebook Lives every weekend. I'm pretty sure he just has.
Check this out. Check this out. Because he gave restitution to the sweat lodge victim, but you'll never guess how much, and you'll never guess. Just wait. This is the woman I interviewed. This is Virginia Brown.
Something James Ray sent you.
He spoke to me Tuesday night, and then
this is the mom of a daughter who died at James Ray Arthur's event.
At the first day of the wake, which was Thursday, we received an overnight package from him with a letter saying that he had made a donation to the Surfrider Foundation in Kirby's memory. To date, there is no record of any donation being made by James Ray for Kirby Brown.
He also sent you money?
He also sent you money. Okay, James, you're a millionaire. You're a multimillionaire speaker. So you have to give, imagine this. Amish, put yourself in the shoes of this guy. You're a Baba G. You're huge. Everybody's going to your seminars. You're running a call. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
I see it. I can see all that.
People died in your sweat lodge.
That would never happen, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're a multimillionaire and you want to do something. You want to pay restitution. You know you can never pay it back, but you want to pay restitution to the mom of one of the women who died. What kind of figures are we talking about here?
I mean, I'd say just take it. I don't know. Take
the house, right? Okay, let's watch.
2 million, 5 million, 10 million, something.
Put your bets before we click.
What's the number? The number?
Let's watch.
Because James Ray.
This past Wednesday on the 22nd, we received a sympathy card. And in that sympathy card was a note that said, please accept this financial assistance. And on the check, he wrote, in honor of Kirby Brown.
And it was for how much?
$5,000.
How did you do that?
That's less than the discount.
Listen. Wait.
To that.
It's laughable. It's laughable. My daughter paid twice that to go to his event.
She paid $10,000 to go to the event that she died at, and this guy sends her a $5,000 check.
I thought the refund was done.
My
after the refund.
God.
The
this
answer
is the
is
refund and the
stop it.
Sorry
it's
that your daughter
come back and
died.
bite you in the butt later too.
Con man. Who does that? Who does? Just don't send any money if you're going to send less than the cost of the course.
Yeah,
the person dies, you go, hey, you had a bad experience.
Yeah.
Here's half a refund.
Half a refund. And you know, when you set it up, I was like, this is not an easy thing to measure. Part of me had to be like, this is not an easy thing to measure.
Right.
How do you measure it? Oh, she paid $10,000 to go to the class. Well, let's start there. That's bare minimum.
Yes.
And that's it. Bare minimum, let's start at 10.
He goes,
and then what?
How about $5,000? How's $5,000 feel?
This guy needs to be. How did this judge just let him out? Like, this judge is like,
I don't know, man. I don't know. This pisses me off.
Huge Oprah fan.
I'm pissed. I am pissed, dude. I'm lit.
The judge said, you killed 3 people, but I'll never forget when you were on Oprah, dude. And like, that's it. 2 years, you're out. 2 years.
2 years.
Oh, this
2 years and $5,000. Killed 3 people.
But he does suffer.
Involuntary
He's useless.
Negligent. Sorry. Negligent homicide. Negligent homicide was the thing. Refund minus admin fees, bro. True. Yeah, you got to get that Facebook advertising.
I'm a scammer. Gonna rip you off, take you down.